Good morning, all of you. And today the discussion point is the connection of secularism with the state and importance of secularism in a new democracy. And definitely the origination of the state, which dates back in historic analysis of the past ages, wherein the origin of man took place prior to writing and describing method the man learned for ages. If we talk about the existence of man in several civilizations, and prior to the establishment of the civilization, human beings were living the nomadic life and therein accepting the existence of the natural forces and fearful by the forces of nature like the torrents of the river and the kind of the natural calamities which used to befall on the heads of man, and several casualties used to occur that threatened the existence of human beings. And definitely the existence of such traits and referential attitudes created religion in scientific sense as we call it. But while we are going to the religious precept by several scholars or theologians in all religion, definitely religion was the first which created the human beings and which made the civilization possible all over the world. If we talk about the Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, especially Sumer, Indus Valley civilization, and Chinese civilization, all where human beings existed, and religion completely narrates the development of the human civilization created by a supernatural being and denies that there was any existence in which human beings used to live in savage condition for years as propounded in theoretical understanding of the scientific method. In sciences, it has been said that human beings originated from the species. The developmental theory put forward by Darwin in recent times completely narrates that the human beings' development and from the species bit by bit and sufferings of the humans have them learned how to live and how to make civilization bold and advancing. Definitely two theories lie apart and narrating the history of man and women in different mode. While the topic is religion, and in religion the human beings, as we see in several shastric disciplines like in Christian theology, in Islamic theology, in Hindutva, in other major religions of the world, the God by beneficial attitude created this species, and definitely it was his bounty that gave all things to the human beings, and just the replica of what he wanted to create and the sense of the ethical morality he wanted to inculcate in the created species. If we talk about the Islamic jurisprudence, Allah the Almighty created the whole world and he was the final judgment giver, and without his will nothing can be done. Though he repeatedly called the merciful, and in Quranic ayats it has been mentioned that he was the most merciful and benevolent to the human species. The codes of conduct and the way of life which has been mentioned in Quran definitely states the omnipotence and omnipresence of formless God, and definitely the understandability of omnipotence to be found in a human brain and without that, the final judgment which has been harangued in the great book cannot be possible. And if we talk about the Hindu Shastric discipline and Sanatan Dharma, it has been said that in Sanatan, the life of man was just the vicar of God, and God created a replica of his an existence of human beings, but it was the God without whose will nothing can happen and nothing can go on. Several Shastric disciplines like Rig Veda, in which it has been invoked, it is he who constantly moves and constantly doing Charaveti, and the natural system which constantly works and responsible for the creation of human beings. Later on, several great scholars propounded the theory of divine origin of the human civilization and divine revelation of the several worlds in which human has to pass after death, and the cyclic existence of human life. And in other religion, just like Christianity, in which taking inspiration from the older traditions and creating a new, that Jesus Christ propounded the theory of the existence of man, and just by the mercy of God in creation of the God, human beings were living and creating civilizations. If we see that what he said, that God was merciful, and by invoking prayers, salvation can be attained. Definitely, in Christian theology, there was a God having no form and imagination of one God and formless entity, definitely propounded by Jesus Christ, and for that the Christians have to suffer in later years by the hands of the pagans and Semitic tribes. Even in religion of Japan and China, like Shinto, Confucianism and Taoism, moral code of conduct remained there, and existence of God was never denied, and thus the building of civilization was deemed to be the grace of the God, and separation of the state between religion and the divinely ordained moral codes was not thought of, and thus the concept of secularism is debate worthy. When all the religions of the world deemed to be creation of the world by the hands of the Supreme Being, then the creation of the state, science, religion was deemed venomous. If we talk about Islam, there was existence of caliph, was just reunion of the temporal and worldly superior might, and in Islam there is nothing separation of a state from religion. There is no concept of a state except Khalifa, who was the supreme boss and supreme entity of ecclesiastical and secular matter as well. And in Christian theology, in which the Trinity was expounded, the Father, Son, and the God, and existence of the state by the mercy of the God himself, in which it was fully developed by later theologians. And so we see the development of papacy in later ages. And in Hindu mythology and Hindu sastric discipline, the king was also the vicar of God, and so the separation of the state from religion was never thought of by the ancient people and ancient thinkers. And definitely secularism has been the brainchild of the neo-Rajian situations which we dealt in second dictations. Thank you. This is the backgrounder of discussing about secularism, state and religion. Thank you all. Thanks all of you.